One person picks up a cinder block and throws it, hitting a 25-year-old man in the head. Other people jump in, punching and kicking the two men, then stealing the 47-year-old man's wallet before running away. The video is from 3 Wednesday morning on Southern Boulevard near Avenue St. John. Both victims were taken to the hospital with pain and bruising, but anyone with any information is asked to call NYPD's Crime Stoppers hotline. That phone number is 1-800-577-TIPS. Katie Johnston for CBSN New York.
3 people shot in Jamaica, Queens around 2:15 this morning. Police say shots were fired during a fight. One person was taken to the hospital in critical condition. The other 2 are unstable.
It comes as police investigate 2 other incidents overnight. Yet another shooting in Times Square, and a driver was gunned down on a bridge in the city. CBS News' John Diaz joins us live near that scene in Washington Heights with more. John.
Good morning to both of you. As you can see on my shoulder here, police, they are still out here on scene. All this happening on the Washington Bridge that connects Washington Heights with the Bronx. Police telling us that the 45-year-old victim here in this case was rushed to the hospital in serious condition. However, we have since learned that he has been upgraded to stable condition. The NYPD spending Wednesday morning investigating a shooting incident on the Washington Bridge. Here, police say just after midnight, 4 people drove up on dirt bikes and fired shots into a man's car, causing him to crash. The suspects then stole his vehicle. Around the same time, in Times Square, shots were also fired. No one was injured, but it startled and scared tourists in the crossroads of the world. The latest shootings are part of a growing number of violent incidents, with more than 900 shooting victims already this year. Lives in the city's economic recovery are at risk.
Gun violence has got to stop.
The NYPD is responding to this spike with initiatives trying to determine what works. The latest involves assigning an additional 100 officers to address weekend violence in the Bronx. This after a 13-year-old was killed in a gang-related shooting, a common source of the violence often involving teenagers. Commissioner Shea expressed his frustration.
You have a 16-year-old kid arrested 3 times in 90 days with guns. Like, where is the outrage and where are the hearings to say what's going on?
The commissioner's blaming policies aimed at police reform, saying it's hampering enforcement efforts. But Democratic mayoral candidate Eric Adams says officers can be both accountable and effective.
We need real leadership, where I'm going to send a clear and loud message to my police officers. I have your backs, but you will have the backs of the people of this city that you swore to protect.
Meantime, Republican challenger Curtis Sliwa says the NYPD needs to hire more officers.
If we wait until the inauguration, we won't see any new police, if at all, probably until late spring.
Now back here in Washington Heights, police have yet to make any arrests here in this case. However, we are told that that stolen car has been recovered. Meantime, later on today, sources saying that Governor Andrew Cuomo as well as Eric Adams will be meeting to discuss gun violence. We'll let you know what does happen. But for now, we are live this morning from Washington Heights. John Diaz, CBS 2 News.
John.
Everyone at 5 o'clock. I'm Bill Ritter.
And I'm Sade Bitterenwa. A man leaving work hit with a scalding hot liquid causing second-degree burns. He says the suspect snuck up behind him and apparently laughed as he ran off. Tonight, New York cops are trying to find him.
Speaking exclusively to the victim, Eyewitness News reporter Diana Rocco. She's alive for us in Midtown. Diana.
And Bill and Sade, the victim says he was walking home late last Monday night down West 47th Street, like he has literally hundreds of times before in the 2 decades that he has worked here in the Diamond District, when he was attacked from behind and taken by complete surprise. Tonight, he is still healing from those burns. He is in tremendous pain and still in shock, but says he is telling his story because he wants police to catch this suspect before he hurts someone else.
I realized there's a guy following me, and he was maybe 10 feet behind me, rushing towards me.
Elmar Garcia was not prepared for what happened next. He was walking home last week near the corner of West 47th Street and 6th Ave when a man ran up behind him, taking him by complete surprise. The brutal attack all caught on tape.
Maybe 5 seconds later, the guy hit me with the water.
It was after 10 on a Monday night when the 57-year-old jeweler who's worked in the Diamond District for more than 2 decades was walking to the subway. The unidentified man ran up behind him, dousing him with a cup of scalding hot liquid, causing severe second-degree burns, the shock knocking him to the ground.
The injuries are extensive, and it doesn't look that big of a cut. He burned my entire back. Was second-degree burn over my shoulders.
The suspect fled on foot. Garsha was treated in a burn unit and is now walking with a cane, still in tremendous pain.
The physical pain I can deal with. It's the fact that you know somebody's out there to get you. Somebody wants to hurt you on purpose. And the guy laughed in my face and ran away. He smiled at me like, gotcha. That's what really got to me.
So this was very traumatic for the victim. He was very emotional still as we were talking to him today, and he says he will no longer be taking the subway here late at night. As for the suspect, police are now looking for. He is believed to be homeless. He's about 130 pounds, about 5 feet 7 inches tall, last seen wearing black shorts. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers.
It's a problem that we have been reporting, and in the last 24 hours, several more people have been injured or killed in separate shootings.
CBS 2's Natalie Duddridge spoke to one of the latest victims, a veteran who was hit by a stray bullet.
Surveillance video shows a group of men running as a man in a white hoodie pulls out a gun. Another person in red takes cover and climbs into the backseat of a car and pulls away. Police say an argument turned violent at 5th Avenue and East 118th Street around 6 p.m. Tuesday. This man, Wilbert Greer, who goes by Tony, shows us where he was grazed by a stray bullet.
Oh, man, just pretty shooken up, still shooken up from the impact.
Greer points to spots where bullets appear to have bounced off the glass of the deli where he works. He and the deli owner are veterans, so their instinct was to protect the people inside.
While the bullets were firing, we had to stand in front of the kids until they got scrambled to safety. We were in Desert Storm together, the same platoon. So we started searching each other's bullet holes.
Gun violence continues to spike in the city. So far this year, there have been 945 shooting victims. Early this morning, just after 12, police say a 45-year-old man was shot in a carjacking. He was driving on the small Washington Bridge, not the GWB near 181st Street, when at least one bullet hit him in the head, causing him to crash the car. Investigators say the suspects, a group of men riding dirt bikes, left the driver for dead and stole his vehicle, but he survived.
It's very scary. I mean, I was out here last night, and I didn't even know that. I just saw the cops there, but I didn't know what was going on. So to know that happened is ridiculous. I actually grew up around here, so it's really scary.
The NYPD says it's responding to the violence with new initiatives. Most recently, 100 officers were assigned to the Bronx, where a 13-year-old was killed in a gang-related shooting over the weekend. Natalie Duddridge, CBS 2 News.
Infuriating situation. Violence and chaos breaking out all over in the nation of South Africa. Fox's Trace Gallagher has the very latest of the sad story for us right now. Trace?
And Tucker, it's impossible not to draw parallels of what's happening right now in South Africa and what happened here in the U.S. after the death of George Floyd, and what could easily happen again in this country when police are outnumbered and overwhelmed. This video is from the KwaZulu-Natal province, where a mall is engulfed in flames and rioters are dominating the police presence there. You can also see looters going down the road with boxes filled with goods piled up on trucks, dollies, carts, even a tractor. Now, police are firing what appear to be rubber bullets at the larger groups. And get this, witnesses say even armed South African citizens were firing on people in the street, though it's unclear how many, if any of them, were hit. And watch and listen to what's happening in Soweto. Remember the context. context here, this is supposed to be a protest about South Africa's former president Jacob Zuma being imprisoned for contempt of court, and yet crowds of people are using it as an opportunity to steal everything from furniture to electrical appliances. And now look at South Africa's most populous province of Gauteng, where there is astonishing video of rioters and looters running inside a popular shopping center carrying bags and other items. And again, police are pointing weapons at the looters, but it's a total mismatch. And just like we saw in America, South Africa's small business owners and the poor are bearing the brunt of this because their businesses have been destroyed and critical public services like electricity and water have been disruptive. So far, we have confirmed 10 people have been killed in the chaos. That number will almost certainly rise. Tucker.
Trace Gallagher, thanks so much. Yep. We're going to have much more on what's happening in